Hi guys, please like, share and subscribe and contact this number if you want full lectures of any CM or CS subjects. Thank you.
Hello guys, so today we will be learning about the R programming language that is included under the actual statistics subjects post the curriculum 2019. Alright, so this is the website of the UK Institute, which is called Institutes and Faculties of Actuaries. You can see the website address over here, and I have it open currently. This lists all the actual statistics subjects, which are CS1 and CS2. These are more or less the combination of previous subjects of CT3, CT4 and CT6, and as we can see, the new papers CS1 and CS2, both of them have an added practical examination based on the R. Alright, this is 1 hour 45 minutes paper for both the papers, which require you to program and solve problems using R. This recommended study hours for the CS1 paper is 200 hours, and for the CS2 paper is 250 hours. The practical examination is going to be of 1 hour and 45 minutes. Alright, so getting started with R is something that we are going to cover in this video. The website has this PDF here, which we will take an access of to get started. So this is the PDF that opens, which is very much written and posted by Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. It says getting up and running with R. So who is this for? This is a guide to help student members and users with the set up and running of R and R Studio software. So here we come across two terms, R and R Studio. So naturally these are two different softwares which are a little different and both are important. We'll come to that later. And what is R console? So R is a freely available open source statistical programming language that has become increasingly popular in a variety of disciplines. Used in academia and industry, it provides a diverse and powerful tool set for the visualization, processing, analysis and reporting of quantitative data. So this is basically a freely available open source, which refers to you can pick up and copy code which you cannot essentially copyright, and you wouldn't be legally penalized in case you have copied someone's code. And it is a statistical programming language, which means it crunches a lot of data, numerical data to be precise, and it has become increasingly popular naturally in the era of technology that we are in currently. And used in academia and industry, it's a diverse and a very powerful tool set for visualization. So what do we mean by visualization? So whenever there is a huge amount of data and we want to express the same data in the form of a graph or a chart or some diagram, we call it visualization. We understand what processing is, analysis and reporting is. All right, so now what is RStudio? Okay, RStudio is a freely available open source integrated development environment for R. It includes a console, syntax highlighting, editor that supports direct code execution, as well as tools for plotting history, debugging and workspace management. This is a little too technical to understand, but basically it provides a platform where you can code using the R language, and it has some additional functionalities where working on R language becomes a little easier. Alright. So now why two pieces of software? R is the programming language and execution environment necessary for anyone that wants to run R code. So basically, you just need R in case you want to run the code that you have written. Essentially, RStudio is not necessary. But RStudio is a popular way to write and run R code due to its ease of use and collection of handy convenience tools. Basically, RStudio makes the programming and the coding, the compilation very easy because of the convenient and handy tools that it has. In this course are going to focus programming using the R studio, and we are not going to do anything with R because the institute too, while you are sitting for the exam, requires you to use R studio more than R. Alright, so do I need to install both? That is what someone will ask. Yes, exams need to be prepared with both R and R Studio. This is what the institute itself is recommending. It is necessary to install R first, followed by R Studio, which will automatically detect R and prepare to use it. This basically says that you cannot use R Studio without having R on your computer. So first we will learn how to install R. This is pretty much just like any other installation of software. So you can Google downloading R programmer software or and R Studio as well, or you can just open this PDF, copy the URL and get them. Okay, this is what it opens, and on this page there is a lot of information about R for our project for statistical computing. We are going to go to this link. The link on the website opens to this page. So you can see a list of countries here. If you belong to one of these countries, you can conveniently choose one of the links under your country's name. I am from India right now, and I do not see the option for India here. So instead, I'm going to choose one of the links under the zero cloud option. All right. This opens this web page where you can see that download R for Linux, download R for Mac OS, or download R for Windows. Now I will be using Windows throughout the series of lectures, and you can simply click on these links and the download will begin. Remember that if remember to choose the link of the OS that you are using. If you mess up, this will not run R in any way on your computer. I'm not going to do it because I have it previously installed. You just have to click on this link, one of these links, and follow the steps that it shows. It is pretty much as easy as any installation of other software. You can even Google for tutorial videos and for installation of R. Follow along all the steps, and there is nowhere you need to change any settings. The default ones are pretty good to work with, and we'll be fine with those as well. All right, so this is the series of steps it asks you to follow. You can completely follow these steps or follow what I said. You could even go to the website and access this PDF, or you could pause the video and follow along. Alright, so this is for Windows, this is for Linux, and this is for Mac OS. Going ahead, we will be installing R Studio 2. So open this link, and there appears this web page where you have these 5 different options of R Studios. We do not need many additional functionalities, and anyone who is working on a personal level or a very small scale does not need any of these. We do not even need the server version of R Studio. We are fine with the desktop version itself. Click on this link, follow along, the exe will be downloaded, install it, your PC might be rebooted. Go along, you will find your way through. All right, so this is how you will download R Studio as well. You can follow these steps for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. If you are going to install R and R Studio at your work, make sure you contact your IT team for it. Getting on to the basic use of R Studio, we'll see how exactly does R Studio look. Right? So this is how typically R Studio looks when you open it. There are some things written over here. If you have previously used some programming language, there is a high probability you will understand this. To open a new R script, click on the arrow here and select an R script. So R Studio, as we see, is divided into these 4 windows. The first is called the R script. The second down here is called the R console. This one is called the global environment, and the last one has these 5 tabs which are very useful. Alright, so when we will be typing a code, we will be doing that in the R script. We could even do it in the R console, but there are some drawbacks which are overcome when you use the R script. Alright, so R script is basically a place where you type your R code. You can edit it, you can go back to it and run the parts within them or the whole code at once. Whereas when you are coding using the R console, you cannot go back and edit and run again. Every time you'll have to run each line of code, because here whenever you type some line of code and hit enter, it will run the code simply. Whereas in R script, even if you hit enter, it will just take you to the next line and you are allowed to type the rest of your code. In order to run a set of code or just one of the lines of the code, you need to select it or you need to stay on the particular line that you want to run, and you can click on this option here which says run, or you could just press Ctrl plus enter at once. We will see how convenient it becomes when we use R script instead of R console later. So coming to the third window, the global environment. So what is a global environment? Here all the variables and functions that you have defined using your code will be displayed. Giving you an example here, if I define x, the variable, with the value of 3, this thing appears here. It shows that x is assigned the value of 3. You can see that once I hit Ctrl plus enter in the R script, the code appeared in the same way in the R console as well. I can check the value by just typing x and pressing Ctrl plus enter, which shows that x has the value of 3. Supposingly I am defining other variable y with the value of 5. It again is displayed here in the R console, and you can see that the variable y has the value 5. This becomes very handy when you have a list of variables that you have defined and you need to define another variable, but you do not know if the variable name is free. So you can scroll through your global environment and see if it is available. Also, you can check the values here. In many cases, what happens with R is R basically overrides the values. All right, so if I am redefining x to be say 7 and running the code, you can see that the value of x has changed to 7 even though nothing has changed in the previous part of the code. So in case I am going further in my code and I realize that no, my answer is not coming right, in order to detect why, I can just look at the value of x and understand the value now is 7. Initially it was 3, and there is where my code is going wrong. So this is something that is very valuable, very handy when it comes to a lot of variables that you have already defined. In order to clear the global environment, you can just click on the broom here and select yes. So this clears the global environment. If you want to redefine all of these, you just have to select the code, click on run or Ctrl plus enter, and everything will be redefined here. See, you can see that the value of 3 did not appear first directly, it went to 7 because the whole code was run at once. And also you can see that when you ran this code, everything reappeared in the console. Alright, if you want to clear the console, simply get your cursor there and press Ctrl plus L together. That is one shortcut which will be very handy, and so make use of it, remember it. I'm clearing my global environment and I am going to select everything, hit backspace to clear my R script as well. Okay. Coming to the last window, we see that there are 5 different tabs over here. Alright, The files tab is something that we wouldn't be using very often. This comes into use whenever you want to upload some file, some data from your system into RStudio. Alright. The second one is plots. So plots is the tab where all your diagrams, all your graphs will appear. For example, if I define X, define Y, and define A. And I'm writing a few lines of code which might be a little difficult to understand currently, but just go along and see what am I doing here. Alright. So you can see that a line graph of my values of X, Y, and A are here. So the first value, that is X, has the value of 3 and it is shown here. The second value of Y has the value of 7 and this is where the curve bends. And the third value of A has the value of 10. I can even change the type here, and there will be breaks. I can completely ignore this argument. And you basically, this is where you can see all the plots that you have made. We'll get into these functions and the arguments that I have used here later. These are going to be very handy and something we are going to use very often. The third tab over here is the packages. Alright, so when I say that RStudio has made using of R easier, I essentially mean that there are readily available functionalities called packages available with RStudio, which I can simply install on my PC and activate wherever I want. This basically helps me with providing a set of functions that are predefined, that reduces the lines of codes that I have to write in order to do one task. All right. So there are a few or quite a few packages that are readily available in R which are pre-installed, and you can even download this. Okay. So in order to download these, you need to click on install and type the name of the package here and click on install. I can show you how to do that. I say Markov chain. This is something you might be familiar with if you have studied CS2 or CT4, and there is a package available for all the functions of Markov chain in RStudio. So this is getting the package downloaded on my system, and I can scroll through this list to find my package. I see the Markov chain package is right here. In order to activate it, I can simply click on the box here. This will go further a little. It takes a little time. Or I can, in my console or my script, just type library and the name of the package which is pre-existing on my system and run the code. This will do the same thing. This will activate that particular package. So packages have different libraries, and every time I type this code or simply select the box here, I am getting access to the library of all the functions under this package. All right. This is something that we will be using. We will be using quite a few packages throughout the course later, and it's essential to get hands-on with this. Okay, so why if everything is all the packages are available on my PC, I am still not able to access it without passing this line of code or clicking on this thing, basically without having it activated all the time? The reason is that these packages, when they are installed, are not active. And keeping all of these active at once will basically slow down your system. And there might be times when the functions involved in different packages are the same. And the system might show errors when you're trying to do one thing, or show different results when you are trying to do something. All right, so it is always a wiser idea to not keep your packages active all the time. Instead, activate them whenever you are going to need something. All right, going to the next tab, we have the help tab. Okay, this is something that is going to be very, very helpful. All right, so this is how it typically looks, and wherever or with whatever in the whole art studio or programming, if you are stuck, you can just type what you are stuck with. Say supposingly the plot function that we have used. Supposingly I am stuck with that. I don't know what exactly the type argument does in that. So I am going to type plot and hit enter. This will open the web page in this window where everything regarding to this function is available. All right, so all the different arguments, all the different code types, some examples are also listed here. Similarly, if you don't want to go to the help tab and type it here, you can just type question mark and type the name. I'm going to type legend. That is another function that we use. So this will automatically open the help tab and the page where it has this particular function. You can scroll through it. These are very helpful. A little difficult to understand initially when you are new to R, but once you get your hands along with it, say you have programmed a few bits, you will understand it very well. Viewer doesn't have a lot of things that we are concerned with. Data in R. So whenever I say that we are going to crunch some amount of data, this is not something like Excel where you can input the data one by one. You will either have it imported from some file, a CSV file or a text file, or there are a few predefined data sets available. One of these is called iris. There are different data sets called empty cars, and there are a lot of these. Okay, so we might use these later in the course. So I'll just show what exactly iris is about. So iris is the name of a flower, and it has the data about the different dimensions of the flower: the sepal length, the sepal width, the petal width, the petal length, and the species of the flower. Okay, these are some thousands of entries which is in a form of a table. Different data can be in different forms. It can be in a table, it can be in a matrix, it can be in a list, it just can be a concatenated series of data or anything. All right, you will get more familiar and handsy with these later when you code with R. As I said earlier, you can use additional resources. These are the ones that are very reliable. The institute even recommends them. If you do not understand or you do not find appropriate help in the R Studio itself, you can go to any of these websites or simply Google. Google too shows the recommendations of these websites. All right, feel free to fool around a little, check these menus that are here, understand a few things, and you can even program basic things like, say, simple arithmetic calculations of x plus y, which will give me 10 because 7 plus 3, and stuff like that. Basically, just go around, see our studio, learn a few things if you can, and we'll start along from here. And the next series of videos will assume that you have R and R Studio previously installed on your PC, and we'll go ahead. Thank you.